So back to it. We're at a loop. Oh, now we're back with the feet. Loop. All done. You're going to want to section it off just at the end, about a third of the way through. So you're going to create a fish. Fish! Okay, so now we have a giant fish. We've got two little sides over here and two larger sides right over here. Now, what we do next is, so you see how this little area right here is folded? We're going to fold him in. And this is the scariest part. It made me really nervous the first time I had to do this. You're going to push everything in and twist, my friends. Twist, twist, twist. It feels really scary. It sounds really loud. And but you should have almost like this pretzel looking thing. Now, this doesn't quite look like a butterfly either. It looks kind of weird. But you do this one thing, and I will have you turn one little wing this way, turn the other wing the same way to face forward, and try to center it out and adjust your little butterfly wings. And ta-da! You've got a set of butterfly wings. And I have a lot of fun with these because I have a lot of little friends that will tie these onto their backs and they'll be little fairies as they go along, or if you want to get more advanced, you can create a butterfly's body and tie it to the front of this balloon so that you have wings in one color and the body in another color. But this is your typical butterfly balloon. Yay! So you have learned. That's right, Poseidon. We have all learned 5 very simple different balloon twisting techniques today. I hope you liked them, and you can always learn more. There's tons of options, as I said before, on the internet for you, as well as having the ability to just play around and create some designs of your own, you know? There's no limit to your own imagination, and I think that most things that we create out of our heads are pretty cool anyways, compared to the stuff that normally just exists on this plane. Oh, yep, and we learned who ruled the ocean, and that is right, that is my cats. They will be joining me quite a lot in streams, it seems like. So today, while I only had 5 simple balloon twists for you, I was thinking to myself, what other carnival fun can we have? Well, I'm a big painter. I love to paint. My mother was a watercolorist, and I grew up taking different art classes, whether that be sketching, painting. I even took a class in clay and pottery. And I think my favorite class that I ever took was in college, and I was able to take a scene painting class, which is actually where this beautiful painting is from behind me. This is painted by me from my scenic painting class. This is a 4x4, so 4 feet by 4 feet painting on muslin. So what muslin is, it's a very simple, very thick material, kind of like cotton. It's usually used for drafting with costuming. But the cool thing about muslin is that you can use it to make your own personal canvas. So I had to learn the whole entire process as to how to make my own canvas and paint on it. So I'm going to give you a very, very brief lowdown on that because I do not want to inundate you. What you do first is that you cut out your 4x4 piece of muslin. Second to that, you're going to starch it. Now, there are different ways of people starching things, but the best way actually is if you boil some potatoes, and remember that potato water that you have left over? That's actually starchy water, and it is the best thing to wipe on your muslin to make sure that you starch your canvas correctly before you start painting. After that, you can either use a projection to put out outlines if you're making if you're translating a picture to a bigger size like I was. This was actually originally a digital paint that somebody did in Photoshop. Once you have all your lines out, then you can create from there. I used many different techniques on here. There's stippling here with sponges that I cut out. This is all like hand-based right here in one color. And then I added colors on top of that. Whenever you are painting, the best thing to do is to start off with your dark colors, actually. and put the depths in there, and then add the highlight afterwards. It's really hard to go backwards, but it is easy to go in that direction, to go from darkest to light. Because that way you can always make sure that your light colors aren't affected by your dark colors, and there's no sort of mixing happening, excuse me. And always, I know it's very hard because I'm somebody who's impatient too, but always try to wait in between your painting layers. That way you can make sure that nothing gets mixed together or something doesn't look as crisp as you wanted it to. It helps keep you between the lines. But with face painting, it's a little different because face painting is water-based. So most face paints that you're going to buy, I have Wolf brand, I think. I bought some nicer ones because I did have to do this for the same job that I was balloon twisting with. So excuse me while I adjust everything. So this is the kind of paints that I use. It's very dry, as you can see, and I can touch it, and it comes off a little bit, but not like regular paint, not at all. And they come in different varieties. There's this one as well. This is Paradise Face and Body Makeup. This one is a little different because it's a white. So white is usually very hard on faces in general because it's needs to be very thick to be white. As you can see, I've already messed up my white a little bit. I've got blue up there, so it's a little bit more oily. So if you ever are using white, what I do suggest is that you use it for accent colors, or you do a full face of white, let that dry, and then go forth with the rest of the colors that you want to use. Besides paint, you obviously need paintbrushes. I use regular paintbrushes because they work for me. Other people use makeup brushes, or there are specific face paint brushes that you can use. But what I like about actual paintbrushes is that they give you a little bit of extra room, as well as having a lot of different tips that you can pick. So this one's thin, which is great for good line work, and you want to have different textures as well, whether they be stiff brushes or soft brushes. They're all going to move differently, so just keep that in mind. I like to keep some paper towels with me as well while I'm painting because I like to wipe down my brushes in between so that colors don't mix. Of course, a little water cup because that's how we're going to activate our paints today. Somebody to paint on. I'm going to just paint on myself, so I'm going to be using my hand today. But you can always use a friend, your mom, your brother, your sister, whoever is willing and gives you consent to paint on them. Always ask somebody if you can paint on them first before deciding to do it yourself. So today, I believe we're going to start off, before I get painting, let's talk about color theory. It is important. So, to my friends out there who are chatting with us, does anybody know anything about color theory? Yes? No? Maybe so? Well, color theory, in the way that I'm going to explain it today, I'm going to explain to you the very, very simple principles. So, colors are broken into primary, secondary, and sometimes tertiary colors. Primary colors are the colors that you cannot create by using any other color in the world. But by using these primary colors, you can create all the other colors in the rainbow besides black or white. So our primary colors are yellow, red, and blue. So yellow, red, and blue, as you see right here, cannot be created by any other color on this planet. They have to be created just by themselves so that they can initiate the secondary colors. Now we're getting into the more complicated part. The best way for me to explain this is I'm going to try to paint on each color in a swatch on my hand to try to show you what it looks like when we add these babies together. Oops, a little bit of red got in my blue, so let me put some more blue in there so I don't ruin the surprise. Ooh, what are we painting today? Well, we're painting many different things. I'm just going to create a Carnival Basics package for you guys today. So we're just going to do simple flowers and hearts and stuff. If you'd like to do more complicated paints, please let us know and I will see what I can do. They will just take a little longer because it does take a lot of work with the weighting and everything. And that's something I had to learn the hard way when I was originally painting, was patience is everything. But we're going to paint some flowers, some hearts, some moons, and some flair because I love flair. Alrighty. It's a little drippy, so I apologize for that, but these are the primary colors painted on my hand. As you can see, blue, red, yellow, ooh. But I'm going to show you their secondary colors by simply mixing them together, just like so. Woo! Oh, that just had too much water on my hand and I mixed up all the colors. Boo! That did not work the way I wanted it to. However, happy mistakes. Always happy mistakes. As we all know, if you put, let me try this, red and yellow, we get orange. Oh, I don't know if you saw that transformation. Oh, there we go. Red and yellow together make orange, as we all know. And so on and so forth. So red and blue together are going to make purple. Red and yellow together is going to make orange, and so on and so forth. And then you can get variations off of that, like light green or lime green, chartreuse, puce, mauve, all these wonderful colors. You can all make them by mixing up these three colors to begin with. Another good painting tip and trick to have are sponges. So these are just some basic makeup sponges. Oh, what's puce? Puce is a kind of dark pinky. I'm gonna look this up for you so that you can see what puce is. I must have Monsters Inc. on my mind because they talk about puce paperwork going to Roz and the goldenrod. Oh, I don't even know what puce is. Oh, that's puce. Something you'll learn about me the more that you get to talk to me is that I love Disney. So I will make a lot of references. So puce, as I'm seeing right now, it's a mauve-y tone. It's almost like a pink. Let me see if I can bring over my phone to you. This is puce. So it's a little bit of a skin tone almost, just a little darker. I would say I can only equate this to a makeup brand. Kat Von D's Lolita 2. I use that lip brand, and that seems to work just fine for me, and that seems to be like puce. But as I was talking about sponges, they're really, really great for doing some different, covering a lot of areas in a short amount of time, or anything like that. Also, as well as making certain shapes. That's the thing about face painting that people like to forget, is that there are cheats, and they are perfect. So any sort of template that you can put on your face, like stencils, or any sort of color wheel that is already made, like a rainbow one, is already perfect for rainbows. You don't have to paint every single color yourself. It actually gets really complicated that way. So if you're looking into those sort of things, look into those options. But first, as I said this morning, we're going to do a small heart. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to grab a smaller brush, about medium size is what I like to use. It does depend on the person because everybody is different sizes. So you do want to paint in a way that makes sense for the person that is near you. Now, a heart, unfortunately not an anatomical heart, like the ones that are inside us, but a general heart is pretty easy to paint. You're just going to want to create a little moon, like a C, almost like a candy cane, and then on the other side, the same sort of moon, and finish it off. And there you go. That's just one little heart right there for you, friends. However, this looks a little boring. Who wants just a plain old heart here? Not me. So, what you can do is add other little hearts to it. And I'm not putting these in any particular area or anything like that. I'm just making it around. A little kid with an anatomically correct heart painted on. I mean, it would be interesting. I would be very intrigued indeed as to how that painter made that happen. So I'm just putting little hearts everywhere to just make it a little happy. So you can create little butterflies and stuff like that. So flair. So if you're ever creating a simple design like this and you're like, well, that seems okay, but it's not quite giving me the zing I want it to. Well, my friends, we're going to do what we call flair. You usually want to pick a different color. I'm going to go with purple, since purple looks great with red. Now, and flair does not have to be anything specific at all. No, 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 my friends. It can be swirls. Ooh. Or just like that, like a curly Q. Or you can create little emphasis marks on your hand. And as you can see, I'm just painting little streaks. So painting on the body is exactly like painting on a canvas. The only thing is you have to remember that the body has curves and lines. So you usually want to create a design that looks really nice with the facial structure, and you don't want to do something that cuts the face, that makes it maybe look smaller or a little funky. And while I'm showing you this flare, I might as well show you a firework of some kind. So I know I'm running out of running out of room on my hands. Let's see if I can focus in here for you. Okay, great. We're going to do a little dot to start off our firework, as you can see right there. A little circle, easy peasy. And then what I like to do is create 4 little streaks that come out of it. So right now it kind of looks like a kitty cat. Kitty cat with a nose. Well, that's not all. That doesn't look like a firework now, does it? So we're going to add in a second color, like blue. And we're going to add a few more little streaks into there. Oh, and look at that. It looks a little bit more like a firework now. Do I have glitter? Unfortunately, I do not have glitter with me right this second, but I do have glitter in general. And glitter you can always add on later. All you need to do is put glitter in a tiny little bottle that has an opening at the top, and just squeeze a little poof, and it'll go poof, poof, and then you'll have a ton of glitter explode all over where you want it to. Now, just to be eco-friendly, please try to find glitter that is good for the planet, because glitter, if you didn't know, are little flecks of plastic. And unfortunately, plastic is not really friendly for our environment, and it takes a long time for it to break down. So if you get glitter that's biodegradable instead, sometimes it's made out of different materials, or it's made out of food. I've even seen edible glitter. It's super, super cool. Those are great options for you. But let me get going with this face painting, because I know we only have 10 minutes left, and I only have 10 minutes left to share my morning with you guys. That makes me a little sad. Let me see what else I can show you how to paint real fast. Ooh, well, why don't we do a flower for the day to start off our Monday, right? So, with a flower, because it's multi-leveled, you do want to do a couple different things. I am going to wipe off my hand, though, because I need it. And what's the nice thing about face paints is I just dip this in a little water, and I have a clean hand. But we're going to end on a flower for everyone today before I have to go. Now, this is another one that will definitely take your patience, because you have to paint it in layers, otherwise it gets a little funky. Water again, but I'm going to go in with a green, because usually flower stems are green. So, on my hand, I'm going to create a little stem, as you can see, a little stem right here, and then a couple leaves. So we've got little leaves and everything, as you can see. So I'm going to let that dry just for a second. You can always have a fan. I usually carry a fan with me too, if I need something to dry faster, or I'll blow on my hand, like I am now. And then we're going to want to go in with, I'm going to go in with blue for blue petals, because I think today's theme was blue flowers. And what I like to do is paint little circles. So what I do is create a little circle just like that, and then fill it in. I find that that's easier for me personally while I'm painting, is if I create the full shape that I like, and then I go in and fill it in. Otherwise, sometimes I get a little lost. And that's okay. Being lost in your art and painting is not a bad thing at all. Okie dokie. So as you can see, I've got the stem of the flower, the leaves of the flower, oops. And we just need the center of the flower next. That would be it. So once your flower is dry, and you do want to make sure it is dry because you do find that, especially watercolors, they run into each other. Got a little center. Now, that doesn't necessarily look that pretty, right? Because it doesn't have any definition. This is the final step whenever it comes to face painting in general. You want to go back in with a black, like I am now, in order to define the lines that you need. This is always last. So everything's dry, as you can see, and I'm going to go back in with this black and help define my flower so that people know what it is. Alrighty. So as you can see, I created an outline for my flower with the circle. Last but not least, I gotta give some detail work to my stem right here. All right, and there is that. That is your Monday flower. Well, thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I will see you back on this channel on Thursday. I've got a big surprise waiting for you. I hope your bellies are empty because we're going to be making bread, which is my favorite thing. So join me on Thursday for making bread, but I believe the next 2 days you're going to be joined by Elliot, and he's going to create some wonderful music activities for you. So that's all from me right now, everyone. Thank you again to Vance for supporting us and our streams every day for you. I hope that you have a wonderful Monday, a wonderful magical Monday, and I will see you all later.